Hello everyone, welcome to AWS Data Engineering Training Program. Today we'll be talking about Lambda functions. So what Lambda function is all about? Yesterday and not exactly yesterday, prior to that we talked about EC2 instances, right? EC2 instance is a compute resource. That means it has CPU, it has computation power, it can process your data, right? But launching an EC2 instance is a tricky process. You have to spend 10-15 minutes, right? Then every time you are running a job, you have to start your server. Then either you keep the server up and running, that is not a good idea, that will add additional cost. And if you have to stop it, right, then it's a tricky task. Start the server, run your job, then stop it. You may forget to stop it. It's not a good idea. Lambda is an, I won't say it's an alternate, but Lambda is very easy solution when you want to do processing for a small time, small in the sense for few seconds. Suppose you want to run a code, that code hardly run for 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, if you're launching a EC2 server, then running your code and then stopping the server, that does not make much sense. Lambda function is a completely serverless service. When we say serverless, it's not actually serverless. Serverless only for a from a user point of view, because user does not need to worry about launching a server, starting a server, terminating a server. User is not concerned about it. It's completely on demand. That means you would say, I have a Python code, I have a Java code, I have Node.js code. I would like to run it, and behind the scene AWS will launch a server for you. It will execute your code, and it will automatically terminate your server. And the good part is, if your code executed for 3 seconds, you will be charged only for 3 seconds. That's the only benefit. But coming to the point, you may be thinking, if that is the case, that means we don't need EC2 instance. No, it's not like that. Lambda function is only when you want a small processing. Very maximum limit is 15 minutes. If your jobs are taking more than 15 minutes, Lambda is not good fit. In that case, definitely you have to think about launching a server. But for any small activity, small ad hoc stuff, which can be completed within few seconds or which can be done within few minutes, below 15 minutes, we are good with Lambda. Okay, so today's class gonna be very interesting class. So let me start with the agenda. So we'll be creating our first Lambda function. Overview, I have already given what exactly Lambda all about. Configuration of Lambda function. Create a test event. Test your Lambda function. Schedule a Lambda function with event breeze rule, and add event based trigger to a Lambda function. What these things are all about, you don't have to think about right now. We'll explore and we'll do it practically. Okay, so let's jump to our account, and you can see this is overview. Although we have talked about, but let's quickly go through this. AWS Lambda is a serverless compute service. It runs your code in response to events. There are two ways. Either you run your code manually in the sense you would say, okay, I want to run the code, or it can be event based as well. That means you configure in such a way that as and when the new file is coming into my S3 bucket, that point of time my Lambda should trigger. For example, you don't know when another team will put the file into S3 bucket, and as soon as they will put the file, you want to trigger a Lambda function. And the Lambda function may be reading the file, doing some processing on the data, doing something, right? So you don't want to wait for the midnight. The file may come in midnight, the file may come in afternoon, in the evening. You will schedule, I mean, you not schedule, you will configure in such a way that it will be event based. File will come, it will trigger. Or sometime it can be event based as well. You would say, I would like to run my Lambda every day morning 8 a.m. and every day evening 8 p.m., Monday to Friday. If you want to do that, we can do that as well. Both things I will show you in upcoming slides. Okay, so it automatically runs in response to incoming request, and it can schedule Lambda function with event breeze rule. It has a limitation that it can be used for processing time up to 15 minutes, not beyond that. So this is very important thing. If you are planning to deal with terabytes of data, Lambda is not a good fit. But if you are planning to process individual small files on ad hoc basis, Lambda is definitely a good choice. So let's jump to our AWS account. I just logged in. Okay, so we'll search for Lambda. You can see, read the tagline: run code without thinking about servers. That make it serverless for users. Ultimately, behind the scene, definitely they will be launching a server for us. So click on Lambda. Okay, so there is no Lambda function for now. It is saying that get started, create a function. So click on that. And there are multiple ways to create a Lambda. Either author from scratch, that means you will write your own code, or use a blueprint. Blueprint in the sense it will give you few different scenarios, like what exactly you want to do. If you click on blueprint name, you can find many things. You want to get S3 object, you want to read S3 object, or you want to do many more things. This complete list is there, right? So they will provide you some templates, basic, some, you can say, initial code. After that you can customize as per your requirement. And the third one is container image. This is the new feature. If you have any container, if you know about containerize like dockers and all, even that can also be used with function. So the most common use case is the first one. We will write our own code. Okay, function name, anything, any meaningful name. I would say my first lambda function. That's definitely not a meaningful name. I mean, whatever your lambda will do, put that name, so that by looking at the name itself you understand what's the purpose of this lambda. Okay, next is runtime. Runtime is nothing but which programming language you will be using for it. So there are almost like commonly used programming language available: .NET, Java 21, Node.js, Python, Ruby, and if you scroll down you can find many more. Okay, for our learning purpose we will use Python, this one, and remaining things is okay. This one is very important thing: change default execution role. As you know, the server, when we launch EC2 server and I was trying to list the bucket, it was not listing. Why? Because the server did not have permission to do anything. Same thing is here. When you are launching a lambda, you need to create a lambda function. Sorry, you need to associate one IAM role, and as per the IAM role permission it will be working. So there are multiple ways to do it. Either you can create a new role with basic lambda permission, you can do that, or use an existing role. So if you go with the first option, right, it will automatically create, but the name will not be meaningful, and I mean, it will only add basic permissions, not anything special. What we can do is, let's create our IAM role in advance. Just like we created one IAM role first for server, and then later on we associated. Same thing we will do here. So what I will do is, I will duplicate this and we'll go to IAM first. So we'll go for lambda. Sorry, my bad. IAM. IAM, right? So we'll create one role specific to lambda. Click on role. Click on create role, and we will create for AWS service. Use the service that time I created for EC2 instance. This time I'm creating for lambda. So you can see this lambda is there. Okay, and you see this, allow lambda function to call AWS services on your behalf. That's the purpose. If I want to read a S3 file from lambda, that simply means that lambda function should have permission to read the data, otherwise it will not work. So that's why I am doing it in advance. We will add the required permission so that we can do this practice. So what permission we will add? I will add S3 access. Let's add S3 full access. That means I can read from S3, I can even write back into S3. Both thing I will be able to do. And click on next. Lambda function name, I would say my lambda IAM role. Allow lambda function to call. Okay, that's fine. Permissions. Create role. One more thing is required. I think I will add that. I will show you what is that. So when we create a role for Lambda, there is a special, I will show you in that tab also. You see this, create a new role with basic Lambda permission. If you will go with this option, this they will automatically add. But since you are not going with this option, you have to add this permission separately. We'll do that. Okay. So you go to my Lambda IAM role, and you will find some permissions. Okay, this one is there. I will add some Lambda, basic Lambda permission as well. Attach policy, search with basic. Yes, it's coming, the first one. AWS Lambda basic execution role, this is required. This is very important. Apart from this, anything else is completely optional, but this one should be part of your Lambda function IAM role. So I am adding this. Okay, we are good now. I will go back to my this tab, and we'll go to use existing role. Use existing role, and yes, it's automatically appearing. So you select this, and that's all. Click on create function. So let me quickly show you what we did. We specified the function name, which language you will use, and I used one existing role which I just created few minutes back, and that's all. Click on create function. Okay, so function has been successfully created, and I will show you that code. I mean, we did not provide any code, but it will still find 3 4 lines by default. You see this. Okay, so this is the default code. If you want, I can remove it completely, and I can make it even more simple. First line you have to keep this. Def means defining a function. This Lambda handler, event and context, this is the important mandatory line. After that, I will just add a print statement. Okay, print, I would say, welcome to Lambda functions. Okay, good. Oh, this is new editor. That's why I was thinking how it's different. This is something different. The screenshot you will find will be little different, but that's fine. Let's try the newer one. They are asking, you are using the new console editor, switch to the old editor. We'll try the newer one. Okay. So we have to click on deploy. Deploy means saving your code. So we'll click on deploy. Your code changes, whatever code changes you made, those will be saved. Okay. You see this updating the function. So successfully updated the code. Now we will test the code. How to run the code, right? Click on test, and it's asking for a test event. So in order to test your code, you have to create a test event. That's one time activity. You don't have to create again and again. So we'll create the test event first. You see here, create test event. Click on that and provide a meaningful name. I would say anything. Test event 1. And you want to create this test event as a private or shareable. Private will be available only for your use. Shareable will be for other team members as well. We usually create private only, because suppose you are working on your Lambda, there are very less chances that someone else will be testing that. And even if they want to test, they can create their own test event. Let's not mix it. So we will create a private test event, and then you have to provide some input. Provide some input to your Lambda function. That's optional, but let's provide something. So this is JSON file, JSON input, key 1 value 1, key 2 value 2. Let's make it more meaningful. I would say name. Name is the key, and value is nearest. Okay. The next one I would say skills, and I would say AWS, and I can remove the third key value pair. Okay. We are just making it simple. So this way you can create a test event, provide some meaningful name, provide some input, and where is the option of create? This is the new editor, so I need to. I don't know. Where is the option of saving or something? I don't see any option of save. Oh, it's there. Click on save. Okay, good. We can close this. And now I will test, click on test, and here you have to select your test event. So we have this test event created. Select this, and it will be running, and you can see down. Okay, so the UI is little different now. Earlier the output was displayed on the right side, now it's coming down, but that's fine. So status is succeeded. Okay, test event name is test event 1, response is null. Response in the sense this function is not returning anything, so that is okay. We are not even expecting to return something, rather we are expecting to print something. So scroll down, and function log. So welcome to Lambda function, you see this. Okay, you can see few more details. Request id, because every time you will run your code behind the scene, it will be launching one small server. So for every request there will be unique request id, which you don't have to worry about. But you can see that there's a request id started, then request id ended, and duration is 2.02 millisecond. Not even second, millisecond. Build duration 3 millisecond. You are charged only for 3 millisecond, and not actually charged. That even that we are under the free limit, right? So not actually charged. But the point is, if you will be launching a server, then it will be charged. I think minimally they will charge for 1 hour or something. But for Lambda function, you see that they are charging you only for 3 millisecond. Memory size 128 MB, and that's all. This was the output expected, and that's happening. Okay, and you are thinking about why the response is null. If you want, you can return something. I would say return and success. Okay, we'll click on deploy. Our code will be saved. Perfect. Click on test. Click on test. Okay, I have to select the test event. You see this response this time is success, because I'm returning from the function. And welcome to Lambda function, and that's all. Okay, so we are done with very basic setup of Lambda. We'll talk more about Lambda. There are different properties, there are different more features. We'll talk about it, but I'm taking a quick pause here. In case you're having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Okay, seems like there is no doubt. Let's see. This is the creating test event we talked about. Running the, you see this earlier, the code and the result was displayed like side by side, left and right. Now the output is displayed below, but that's fine. You can switch back to the old editor if you want. Okay, next is schedule a Lambda function, but before that I think there should be few more things. Okay, we'll talk about few more things. So we'll come back to Lambda, and okay, so on the top there are few you can say tabs. We talked only about code. Next is test, which we have already covered. We are creating a test event, right? That is already covered. Monitor. Monitor will help you to monitor your logs. Right now, you are running your code, you are checking your output. But suppose tomorrow you will come back and you will say, what output it generated yesterday? I would like to see that. In that case, you can monitor your Lambda logs through this option. And the very first option is View CloudWatch Logs. Click on that. It will be opening a new tab. CloudWatch is a separate service of AWS, which is managing the logs, not only for Lambda. It is managing the logs for almost all the services. So basically, when you are running your Lambda, you can check the output over there. But if you want to check the history, the going back, uh, then you can always go to CloudWatch, and from there you can find the Lambda logs. So you can see here AWS Lambda, my first Lambda function, and scroll down. You can see that we executed 2 times. Both execution logs are available here. We will execute a few more times, then we'll come back. If you want to check, right, click on any of the link, and you will find the complete detail here. You see this runtime version Python 3.13, and request started. Welcome to Lambda function, request ended. That's all. Whatever was displayed over there, that displayed temporarily, because once you run it again, the older output will be, you can say, disappear, and the new output will be displayed, right? But CloudWatch will maintain all of your logs. It is helpful usually when the things are not working as expected. For example, one file came into S3 and you were expecting that the file arrival should trigger my Lambda, but it did not trigger. Or you were expecting that it should trigger the Lambda should read my file from S3, it should process my data, and it should write the output data into some Redshift table. Suppose you have written the code like that, but somehow your Redshift table is not updated. So where you will go to check? You will go to CloudWatch and check the Lambda execution and check what is the error. Maybe some permission issue, or file not found, or format is not recognized. There can be anything. Okay, so this is about monitor. The next is configuration. That's very important thing. Right now we went with default settings. I simply provided a name of the Lambda, and I associated one IAM role. I did not change anything apart from that. But this configuration part of Lambda function has many things you can change. So first is general configuration. You see that there is no description given. We can change it, although it does not affect anything technically, but you can provide a meaningful description. Memory is 128 MB. The RAM, because behind the scene it will be launching a server, so only 128 MB of RAM will be there. For small processing, it's okay. But suppose you are dealing with a big file, 128 memory may be going out of the memory. So you can change it. Ephemeral storage, that's like hard disk. And timeout. Timeout is very important thing. By default, timeout is 0 minute 3 seconds. That means if your Lambda is whatever processing you are doing, if that is completed within 3 seconds, we are good. Otherwise, it will fail automatically. Right now, I'm just printing a small statement, and forget about seconds. It is hardly taking 3 milliseconds, right? But suppose you are processing some file, you are reading some file from S3, which is taking some time. Then you are going through row by row, record by record. You are doing something which may take few seconds. Suppose that's taking 20 seconds. In that case, your Lambda will fail. You know why? Although the highest limit is 15 minutes, but even for 20 second it will fail, because default time set here is 0 minute 3 second. But we can change that. Let's click on edit. We'll provide a meaningful description. I would say for learning purpose. Okay, that's the description I have put. Memory, you can make it up to 10 GB. You see this 128 MB till 10240 MB, that's approximately 10 GB. If you want to change, you can do, which is not required. Similarly, hard disk, also you can make up to 10 GB. And timeout, you see this maximum timeout is 15 minutes. Let me show you. If you will make it 20, it will not take. You see that the maximum timeout is 15 minutes. Okay, but sometime it's not a good idea to keep the like timeout as 15 minutes, because you're doing very small thing. You are connecting to Redshift and fetching some data. You're expecting that you should be able to do it within few seconds, but on safer side you can put the timeout of few minutes, but let's not go up to 15. Okay, so will put 5. If required, if you are very well aware that okay, my data processing will definitely take 15 minutes, you can put that limit. And beyond 15 you can't do. If your data processing is taking 17 minutes, it will definitely fail. There is no way to increase it. So I'm putting it 5 minutes 0 second. Okay, and im role is fine, I will not change it, and click on save. Okay, good. Scroll down and check. Description is given, timeout is 5 minutes, and other details are as it is. After that trigger, I was talking about that scenario, right? We will copy file in S3 and that should trigger the Lambda. We'll talk about it. We'll come to that point. But before that, I will talk about few more details. That is environment variable. This is very important thing. Okay. Environment variables are helpful when you want to use the same code in different environments. Let's take an example. Suppose your Lambda code is about connecting to Redshift. So in order to connecting to Redshift, you would need connect Redshift URL. You would need username. You would need password, right? If you will hard code these three things in your code, then the same code you cannot use in different environments, because for dev environment, the URL will be different. Username username can be different and password is different, right? When you go to production, in production you will be connecting to a production redshift cluster. That would be again different url. So the point is that I cannot use the same code as it is. There are few things which I need to change, but that's not a good idea. Sometimes we have multiple environments. In my current project we have three environments: dev, stage, and production. But we use the same code across all three, and whatever things are change, I mean different, right? Those things we keep them as an environment variable, because environment variable you can keep different for different environments. So let me create one environment first, then you will understand. Okay, so I will add one environment variable. I would, for testing purpose, I would say redshift url. Okay, and I would give anything. I would say jdbc colon my redshift dot amazon aws.com. I'm putting something. Okay, I'm adding one more. I would say redshift username Neeru. Okay, I'm just adding two variables and I will show you how to access these variables inside the code. So we'll click on save and come back to the code. Code. So in order to read the environment variable, you need to import one package, the Python package. The package name is OS. So you do import OS package, and then let's print it. Print OS dot environ square bracket square bracket and put that variable name. What did we put? We put redshift underscore URL. Okay. What it will do is it will fetch from environment variable and it will print it here. Let's deploy it, and then we will test it. Updating the function code, it's updated. Click on test, select your test event. Okay, perfect. Let's check the output. You see this. Welcome to Lambda function. That's just nothing but a hard coded message. And after that, jdbc colon my redshift hyphen amazon aws.com. I did not put this in my code, but it has fetched from environment variable. So this value can be different in different environments, but the key name will be same. We will keep this key name same in all the environments so that the code is same. Ultimate point is that touching the code is not a good idea. Python is very agnostic. If you simply put additional space or you move it back or tab or anything, it will start breaking. So touching the code is not a good idea. That's why all these type of things you keep them as environment variable, so that if you are making any enhancement to your code, you do it in one environment, test your code, and once it's working fine, simply copy paste the code in other environments. That's all. Okay, I hope that makes sense. In case you are having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Okay, so now I will show you how to schedule the Lambda. Right now what I'm doing is I'm manually clicking on test and then running. But suppose I want to run it 10 times a day. Will I keep on coming back to this console and keep on clicking on test? That's not required. We can schedule it and it will automatically run. So for scheduling, we have a different service in AWS. The service name is Event Breeze. So how do we do that? We will open one more tab, or let's use this IM one. We don't need this. So we will click on Event Breeze. Click on Event Breeze. Okay, so click on rules on the left side, and we will create our first rule. Rule is basically nothing but a trigger. It will schedule your Lambda. So there is no rule as of now. We will create our first rule. Rule name, I would simply say trigger my Lambda function. It's automatically coming from my previous batch. Okay, trigger my Lambda function. Description, to trigger my Lambda function on a defined schedule. And then you want to run with the event pattern or you want to schedule it. How to run with the event pattern, that also I will show you. But right now let's talk about scheduling. So we run the scheduler. You can click on, what is this? Event based scheduler, a new AWS scheduling capability. Click on create rule. Okay. So I hope you are aware about the cron tab, right? Cron tab is what minute, what hour, what day of the month, which month, day of the week, which day of the year you want to run your Lambda. So let's do one thing. I will, I think day of the month and day of the week, I think either of these two should be question mark. I will make it question mark of this one. I would say every month, every day, every year, every hour. And minutes, if you will make it star, that it will keep on running every 1 minute, which is not a good idea. What I will do is, I will, what's the current time now? Current time is 7:35. So we'll make it, I think this will take some UTC time format. We'll check that. I will make it 38. Let's make it local time. Okay, perfect. So hold on. Huh? You see this. Right now, my current time and on my system is 7:35 a.m. As per this cron schedule, it will run on 7:38 after 3 minutes. Okay, that's good. Or let me make it 40 because we have to do some configuration. It will take some time. So the next execution will be at 7:40, then 8:40, 9:40, 10:40. So what we will do is we will click on next. We have to do few more things. Target on this schedule. What we want to do? My target is Lambda function. So select target as Lambda. Search Lambda function. It will display Lambda function. Select from the list. Only one Lambda is there. There is no confusion. Additional setting. Do you want to pass some input? You can do that. So click on next. Tags are not required. Next. You can quickly review. So trigger my Lambda and enabled this, and this is my schedule. So this is as per UTC. You change it to local to understand better way. 7:40, 7:80 for 4 minutes from now. And this is my target, my Lambda function. This is the ARN, and all these things are good. And that's all. We can click on create rule, but let me quickly change small thing. I will change this timing. Otherwise, we have to wait for a few minutes. Okay. Click on next, 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 create. Okay. So the rule has been created, and our expectation is when my clock hits 7:38, it should trigger my Lambda. And how do I know it will trigger or not? I will check in the logs. So I will go to my logs tab, and let me go back one step. So you will notice that there will be only two entries, or three entries, because third one we executed for that environment variable, right? We executed for this one. We displayed this JDBC URL, correct? So three executions already there. I'm expecting that after 1 minute, there will be one more entry. We'll wait for it. This is UTC time. 201. Let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, it's done. You see this? The fourth one has come, right? And you can see the time also. This is UTC time, but that's ultimately refer to 7:38 India time. We'll click on this one, and You can see this one. This has been executed. Okay. Now the next execution will happen after 1 hour. If you want to make it every few minutes, every 1 hour, every few hour, every particular day, Monday and Wednesday and Friday, you can do all this thing. Okay. So what I will do is I will disable my rule. You know why? Otherwise, it will keep on running my Lambda every 1 hour. I don't want that. Either you can delete the rule or you can disable also. Usually, if you if you need this rule again after few days, then you can disable it for now and then enable it again. From next week onwards, in my company, there will be like year-end shutdown. So we will disable all of our Lambda. We will not delete the rule because once we are back in January, we have to re-enable it. So we'll not delete. But in our case, if we want, we can even delete that. So I will click this, click my rule name, and I can either disable or delete. So I will delete for now. Type delete and yes. Okay. So any doubt till now, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll be moving to the most important part of today's class, that is event based Lambda execution. That means neither we will schedule our Lambda nor we will manually trigger our Lambda. We will make it event based. That means we will copy some file into S3 and your Lambda should be triggering automatically. Okay. So we'll do that. Before that, I will take a pause. Please feel free to ask the questions.
Neeraj, this event bridge is like a scheduling tool or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a separate service in AWS, which is specifically for scheduling. So
Okay, we need
AWS,
to create some IAM role for this as well, right? In
no,
this
no, no,
case,
no, it's not required. This is internal, just
because
like
it was
no, CloudWatch is also there, right? We did not create any IAM role for CloudWatch. These are centralized service. CloudWatch is capturing the logs for all the services, not only Lambda. Similarly, EventBreeze is not helping you to schedule the Lambda. It can help you to schedule anything else also. That's why when I was creating the role, it was asking me about the target. What is your target? My target I choose as Lambda. But apart from Lambda, there are many more targets as well. So these services are managed by AWS and we don't need to create any IAM role.
okay.
When we are doing something, suppose I am reading some data from S3, I am writing into Redshift. When we are doing some data engineering type of stuff, for that one we need to use IAM role. Whatever internal mechanism are there, AWS is managing your logs, they are managing your audit logs, and these type of things like this event bridge rule and all, right, these are internally managed. Okay. But in case you get some error anywhere, by looking at the error message you will understand what exactly is missing. If required, you can go back to IAM anytime and add the required permissions. So we'll talk about how to make it trigger based. Any other doubt? Okay, I think we are good. So on the left side you see trigger. As of now there is no trigger. We'll add a trigger. So select a source. I can select many things, but I will show you S3, which will be easy to understand. S3. Okay. Which bucket? So my first bucket need is, let's choose this. Event type. For what type of event you want to trigger your Lambda? I was giving an example that when file is coming, Lambda should trigger. But requirement can be little different. I would say when the file is coming in my bucket, I'm not concerned. It's okay. But if someone is deleting the file from my bucket, that's I'm definitely concerned. In that case, my Lambda should trigger. And what Lambda will do? Lambda can do anything. Lambda can put an entry into the S3 bucket. That sorry, not S3 bucket. It can add some detail into Redshift table that this file, this bucket, it was deleted by this user on this particular date and time. It can capture that. Or on other side, Lambda can send an email to someone. It can send an SMS to someone. It can send a Slack notification to your app that this file is deleted from S3 bucket so that you get instant notification. It all depends upon your requirement. AWS is giving you different components. I mean, you have to combine them to create your project. It's like you're going in a kitchen, all the utensils are there, all the raw material is there, right? You have to cook your food. It's like that. So you have to think what exactly you want to do through Lambda. There is no limit, you can do each and everything through the Lambda. But you have to think, okay, this is my requirement. When the file will come, I want to trigger my Lambda, then my Lambda will send an email, the email will do this thing, all that stuff. For now, let's try with, I would say, hmm, I would try with delete. Okay, let's remove this one. So I don't want to trigger my Lambda for create, rather I want to trigger my Lambda for delete event. We'll delete some test file and we'll see. Okay, so delete event I selected. Prefix and suffix. Maybe for each and every file you don't want to trigger a Lambda, which is not a good idea. Someone may be, suppose, deleting so many files and your Lambda will trigger like 100 times. You don't want that. You are saying that if someone is deleting only CSV file from a particular folder, then only my Lambda should trigger, otherwise not. So what I will do is, I would say if the suffix is dot CSV, then only my Lambda should trigger, otherwise not required. Similarly, you can give some prefix also. There can be multiple folder and you want to monitor only a particular folder, you can do that. But I'm not doing for now. I'm saying only if the file is ending with .csv, my Lambda should trigger. Otherwise, it's okay. Okay. Next is recursive invocation. This is very important thing. It's a deadlock situation. I will tell you. Suppose you are saying that when my file is coming into my bucket, my Lambda should trigger. That's fine, it will trigger. What Lambda will do? Lambda may be processing your input file and it will generate output file. And you are saying that put the output file back into S3. It will put. But as soon as it will put the file into S3, that means it should trigger the Lambda. It's like a deadlock situation. So it is clearly saying that I acknowledge that using the same S3 bucket for both input and output is not recommended. That's not a good idea. Or you restrict it for a folder. That's possible. You restrict that when the file is coming into my input data folder, then my Lambda will trigger. And you write your output into a different folder, output folder. In that case, whatever output data you are writing from Lambda, you are writing into a different folder, and from that folder, Lambda will not be triggered. So we are good in that, right? So it is just a warning. You have to acknowledge it that you are aware about this. And finally, click on add. Okay. So trigger has been successfully added. You can see this S3 trigger has been added here. Now, when my when I will delete some file from S3, it will trigger my Lambda. But what Lambda will do? Lambda will say welcome to Lambda function because I have added a print statement, which is not very meaningful. Let's do one more thing. I will go back to the code and we'll make a small change in the code. If you notice, the very first line in the Lambda function is there is a event. I will show you. You see this. Def defining a Lambda handler, event is the input parameter. What is that event? Event is nothing but whatever event is calling this Lambda, it will send some detail. Would you like to capture those detail? Let's print the event. Okay. So along with welcome to Lambda function, I will do one more thing. I would say print and event. Okay. And if you remember, we created one test event. I put some name is equal to Neeraj and something, right? So that will be printed here. If you test directly, when this Lambda will be triggered as a event, actual event, then actual event will be printed. I will show you both. So we will deploy the change first. We'll deploy it. Okay, and we'll click on test. So we have a test event, right? I will select this and output is here. You see that the test event is printed here. Name Neeraj skill AWS. So now, because right now I'm testing directly manually in Lambda, so it's printing my test event. But when actual event will happen, the actual event even will happen when I will delete some file from S3 bucket, then actual event will be printed. And I will show you that also. Okay. So we'll go to our S3 bucket. So I will go to S3. S3. And we'll delete one CSV file. If it's not there, we'll copy first and then we'll delete. Okay. So my first bucket near is this one. Do we have any CSV file? It's there. It's good. We'll delete that. So we'll delete one file And as our expectation is, once I will delete this file, it should automatically trigger my Lambda. So I will select this. Suppose department CSV I don't need, for example. I will select this, click on delete, and type delete here for confirm. After that only this delete object option will be enabled. So type delete and delete object. Okay. So for example, you have configured the Lambda, and the users are not even aware that you have created a Lambda and which is capturing the delete event and all. They are not even aware. Someone simply came to S3 bucket and they deleted some file. They are not even aware that deleting their file will be triggering Lambda. They will not aware about it. But you know that Lambda will be triggered and it will be doing something. So you will come to know about it. So we'll wait for a few seconds. After that, we go to CloudWatch, and we are expecting that one more execution should be there. So 217, right? Right now 50. So basically 220. There should be one more execution 220. 217. We'll wait for it. Okay. One more thing. This is a very important thing. You can see that it has executed our Lambda, but why it has not come in a different stream? This is known as stream. I will tell you. When you execute your code, Lambda will launch a small server behind the scene. Your Lambda execution is done. It is not terminating the server immediately. It will wait for few seconds. Within that few seconds, if your Lambda is again triggered, it will come the log into the same only. That's why our 217 217 log and 220 logs are available within the same stream. If you click on this, you will find this one which I executed manually, right? I triggered my Lambda manually, which is this one, and request ended here. After that, 219, the Lambda automatically got triggered, which I didn't trigger manually. And this time, event is very big. Let's click on this. Let's expand this. Okay. You see that very big event is there. This big event is basically containing all the details. Let's check it out. Event source S3. So the event which trigger your Lambda is S3. AWS region is US East 1. Event time, when this event occurred, this one, 219 UTC. Event name, object removed. Basically, you removed one object from S3 bucket, right? And you will find few more detail, like I would say source IP address, from which IP address your file was deleted. And you will find more details like bucket name. Bucket, this is the bucket name, and ARN is this one object, sample department data.csv, and all these details. So out of this, if you want to extract something, right now I am printing the event directly. I did not do anything, right? I simply printed event. So it's completing, printing complete. But out of it, if you want to extract, suppose which file got deleted and which bucket, you can extract it. Then write the Python code to send an email. The email will be going to some particular team or your manager, and the mail will say this particular user has deleted this particular file from this bucket at this point of time. That's all. And the user is not aware that something has already configured like that. So I showed you for a delete activity, you test it for delete and create both. That means when you are copying a CSV file, it should trigger your Lambda, or when you are deleting a CSV file, it should trigger your Lambda. You can try both the scenarios. Okay. So with this one, I think we are done for the day. In case you are having any doubt, you can ask me. I hope you found today's class interesting. It's more of a developer stuff, right?
Yes. So how much in a real world, like for what scenario they use, only for um just for this event driven thing or more than that?
Even more than that, Lambda is very common. I don't think you can find a project where they are not using Lambda. Lambda has many use cases. If small files are coming and you want to do some processing on top of that, I will tell you one example. Suppose your input file is coming and you want to process that file in some database, but small little bit of processing is required, not exactly processing, some basic validation is required. Basic validation is, you're expecting that your file should be having a header. You're expecting that your number of column in each row should have some particular, suppose 10, right? So every row should have 10 record, 10 columns, employee id, first name, last name, like that. Unfortunately, if any of the row does not contain those 10 fields, you would like to discard that row. So basic type of validation you would like to do before you do actual processing. This part can be definitely done with the help of Lambda. So you will configure Lambda in such a way, file is coming in S3 bucket, Lambda will automatically trigger, it will check the file, it will read the file from S3 if it has the required permission. It will read it, it will check the header, it will check the number of columns in each row, whatever are the valid rows, the rows which are having the required number of column, that row will be moved into a separate file, and whatever rows are not having the required number of columns will be discarded. So basically, as I was giving an example, you will copy the raw file into input folder. Lambda function will trigger. It will process the file. It will store only the valid records into a separate folder, output folder, suppose. And on top of output folder, we will be doing further processing with the help of different tools. We have Athena, which we will be exploring in upcoming classes. We have Redshift. We have many more things which can process that. So any ad hoc thing which you want to do immediately based upon some event, that can be done with the help of Lambda.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, I can give you many more scenarios, very practical scenarios. We have created a Lambda function. What it will do is it scans how many EC2 instances are running at the end of the day. Okay, after scanning, it will find that few 5 6 instances are running. Our developer team, right, they sometimes forget to stop, and they haven't even configured any CloudWatch alarms and all. So we scan it, but now we cannot blindly shut down the system. We want to check few things. We want to check whether any user is logged in into that server or not. So using Python you can do that. After that, there are few jobs running on the EC2 server, that also we can check. Is there any job running? So there are few criteria. Any user is logged in or not? Any job is running or not? There are few more checks. We do that. If everything is okay, we stop the server. Why? Because if we stop the server in the evening around 8 p.m. until next day morning 10 p.m., 10 a.m., approximately 14 hours. 14 hours we have stopped the server. That is saving a lot of cost to the company. So you can do anything,
Hmm.
whatever you can think, you can achieve that through Lambda. But the thing is, it should be completed within 15 minutes. So whatever scenario I'm talking about, scanning EC2 instances, checking jobs are running or not, that's hardly 1 or 2 minute stuff, not even 15 minutes. So within 1 or 2 minutes, it will check, it will take the action accordingly. If some jobs are running, it will skip, it will not stop that server. If no job is running, no user is logged in, it will simply stop that server. We are stopping, not terminating. We will stop the server. Next day morning, when the developers are coming, they are starting the server again. It's okay.
Okay.
Any other question from anyone? Manju, Narendra? Okay, then we are good. I will be uploading the recording shortly, and you should try this on your trial account. And then tomorrow we'll explore some new topic.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.